Welcome back. For more than 6 months, many of us have followed the story of Shaggy, the wayward pooch who wandered a Cascade neighborhood. Despite using net guns, tranquilizers, and ropes, it was trust and a bit of salmon that caught the dog. WZZM 13's Steve Zagman has been following Shaggy's journey. He joins us now with a look at how Shaggy is doing. This is one of my favorite stories of the year. I have loved this because, well, first of all, I love animals and their stories, but I love the way the community got around Shaggy, and everybody worked together with the best interest of this little guy.
Yeah, and it was amazing that what eventually caught the dog was basically trust and routine. And what I learned is Shaggy became a feral dog, and this is what was kind of interesting with dogs in general. If a dog is on its own for over a month, it actually becomes feral.
That quickly?
Yeah, if the dog has no interaction with people. That means the dog is scared of people. Dogs, when I went to this place in Newport, Michigan that rehabilitates dogs, is called the Devoted Bar, and that's where Shaggy's currently at. I learned all these really interesting things about feral dogs. And these are dogs that typically the shelters can't take care of because it's a real long process.
Like 1 to 3 years, you said?
Yeah, 1 to 3 years to turn one of these dogs into more of a domesticated dog. And so we're looking at the feral dog park right now, and they actually have to separate the feral dogs from the domesticated dogs because the dogs don't understand each other.
Wow.
Like a domesticated dog doesn't understand why a feral dog won't go up to humans.
Yes.
But the way they do it, the way they turn a feral dog into a domesticated dog is about hand feeding. So, and routine. So once a day or twice a day, they release the feral dogs, and there's all these volunteers that will feed the dog to build the trust.
Yeah.
And what's kind of interesting is, so in order to feed the dog, they get the dog to come and put their paws on your lap.
Yes.
That way there's kind of human interaction.
Yes.
So stage 1 is that. Stage 2 is getting the dog to sit before you hand feed it.
Yes.
And then stage 3 is putting a collar on it. And then stage 4, the dog is ready to go into a foster home. And then stage 5, it goes into a separate foster home that's more, less routine. And only then can the dog be adopted.
Okay, because I asked you, are there people lined up for Shaggy? And the reality is they're not even focusing on that because he's got a long journey.
Yeah, there's clearly a lot of people that want this dog, but in order to get it, the dog has to go through a long process, 1 to 2 years. He's probably only 6 months into it, really.
Yeah.
And in order to get the dog, you have to build a bond with it. So you're actually going to go to where the foster family, where the dog will eventually be, and see if the dog warms up to you.
Yeah.
So they're very picky about who will get them.
Now, in that video, we saw a tiny little girl.
Yes.
We think of feral dogs like maybe being wild dogs that would attack or something. But that little girl, she's in the kennel with these dogs. Look at this.
These dogs are so nice. A feral dog isn't a mean dog. It's just a scared dog. The same way a deer is scared. They don't bite, they don't even bark. And that's what I thought was interesting. Feral dogs don't bark because they want to stay hidden.
Oh, interesting. And now, there was one other point. Oh, they've created relationship, like roles in the pack.
Oh,
and I love this.
So feral dogs are pack animals, and each one has a different role, especially even at this feral dog park. So you have a dog that acts as the guard. When I was there, he was always barking at me, letting everyone know that there's a stranger in the midst.
Yeah.
And then there's dogs like Shaggy. Shaggy's taking on kind of the motherly role and will actually sit on scared dogs to help comfort them. And you'll see that in my piece coming up tonight at 6.
I love this story. I cannot wait to see your piece tonight at 6 o'clock in the news.
Oh,
right
yeah.
Here on WZZM.
I got to feed him.
You fed him? And peanut butter is what? His
peanut
jam.
butter, his absolute favorite food.
Favorite
yes,
thing.
Tonight at 6. Watch the story.
I can't wait to see it. Thanks, Steve. Up next, we're going to introduce you to a local teen.